Well, hello world! I got my camera the wrong way. That was cute. Okay, welcome to my kitchen. It is Southwest Florida. It is on about 10:30 a.m. And I'm going to start out making something I haven't made in a while. It is really good though. It is called baked lemon cake pudding. And I'm actually making 1.5 recipes of this. So I am going to squeeze some lemon juice to start. So let's turn this over here. I'm going to have right here. And I'm going to, what I need is, now like I said, I'm doing 1.5 recipes. So the whole recipe calls for 1/3 cup. If you're making, it makes about 6 servings. So the way I'm doing it's going to make 9. So let's do 3 lemons I'm squeezing. Normally you squeeze 2, but you want 1/3 cup of lemon juice. Now it also tells you to use the lemon zest. If you're going to use the lemon zest, you need like you need a tablespoon. But I'm going to do lemon extract instead because it's so much easier than grating lemon zest, and I think it's just as good, if not better. I don't really like lemon zest so much because then you get little bits of lemon zest are a little bit hard. Okay, so let's take this. And let's see if we can squeeze this to 1/3 cup and then half as much again. Let's take the lemon, cut off the little end. Here's my measuring cup. Let's squeeze it in. See how much it takes to get that amount. I hope this is enough. This is how much it told you. How many lemons it told me. So this depends on how much juice is in the lemon, the size of the lemon. So I think that's actually just a little under 1/2 cup. That's what that is. Looking on this measuring cup. Get that out of the way. Let me get another one. Take all these little knobbies off because it doesn't squeeze in that very well. Let's see what we have here. So I'm running a little late. I want it to be a little further along than, this at this time, but of course I got up late because, of course, I don't want to get up. Normal, typical morning, I don't want to get up. Never want to get up. If I had motivation to get up, I guess I'd want to get up. If I had a reason that I really wanted to get up. What is life like when you, want to get up? When you have a reason, it's something you want to do. What is that like? I don't even know. What is it like to look forward to something in your day or your life? What is that like? That you wake up and say, oh, I'm so excited to get up today. What is that like? Do any of you have that? I don't. Okay, so that's about it right there. All right, so let me get rid of these lemons. So there's my juice. Let's move it over here out of the way. It must be an amazing feeling. Hope I have that feeling again one day. But it's been so many years. 9 since I've been alone, but it was actually probably longer than that. That I have not had that feeling. I mean, at least before then. Before I was alone, at least there were some days, like when we went to Disney World or something, or we were going to go out to dinner or something, at least there were moments when I had something exciting to look forward to, that if it was in the morning, I would be, oh, yay, we get to go blah, blah, blah today. And I would have at least be excited and happy for a while, and I don't have that anymore. Somehow, when you're alone, at least for me, I haven't found anything I'm excited enough about to do alone. Even though it's odd, I like to be alone. I like to be alone for periods of time. But not when I go do stuff. Okay, so let's do. In a small bowl on high speed, we're going to beat our egg whites. Okay, so we have eggs, and we're going to separate our eggs. So we're going to put egg whites. All right, let me get 2 of these little cups here. And then we're going to separate these. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Okay, so I have 3 eggs. And I'm going to have... And again, this is a recipe and a half. So what I do with the egg, to separate, to me, that's the easiest for it to not break, is to do it in your hand. And they make all kind of nifty little separators and stuff now that you can use. Okay, so there's one. Go ahead and put that in the bowl. Number 2. The shell is wanting to fight me. There we go. But it's just so much easier to kind of keep control of it when you do it this way. 2. And we're going to beat our egg whites. One more. And of course, we're going to use our yolk also in the filling. Because this makes like a lemon pudding. It's really neat. Okay, there we go. And you, it makes like a pudding layer on the bottom. There we go. We got it. Always have extra eggs when you do this in case you have a little disaster. But it makes pudding on the bottom. I do kind of look forward to cooking and baking, actually. So that's a little minor, something I look forward to. But I don't look forward to it enough to get excited about getting out of bed early. It's not that exciting. So let's turn this on. Oh, you know what? I want the other beater in this, not this one. Let's turn this around. I want the whisk in here. Okay, pull that up, turn it on high. So I'm going to add 1/4 plus 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt to that. Gradually sprinkle in 3/4 cup of sugar. Let me get my 1/4 cup measure here. Okay. And I'm going to add our sugar. This down. I think, oh, here's my sauce. I was going to say, I think all my spatulas are dirty. No, there's one here. Just buried. Let me get that out. Okay, here we go. Let's scrape the sides of this down to get that sugar off the side. Good morning. If anyone is watching the replay, hello. Say hello to me. I love to know who likes to watch. Okay, here we go. I still have some on here. Oh, there we go. also want to get a bowl. I'll put it in real quick. I wonder if that's a big enough bowl. Yeah, I think it's a big enough bowl. Okay, let's try that. Let's check our peaks. Okay, they are not stiff yet. Okay, some more. They're falling over. Check and see what we got now. Basically, you just let it go until it gets there. Let's see what we have. All right, see, there's kind of a stiff peak. See, it keeps its shape. So I'm going to get off the beater here. This is a real sweet meringue because you put a lot of sugar in it. It makes it a little sticky. And then I'm going to scrape this into a bowl. Because I need my mixer. And if you have a mixer with 2 bowls, or you want to mix it separate or something, you can just get a different bowl. But of course, mine just has 1 bowl. Oh, this bowl is plenty big enough. Mine could have been a little stiffer, but it'll be fine. Trust me, it will be fine. It'll be so good. So what this does, it separates into a pudding layer on the bottom, just like lemon pudding. And a nice, delicate cake layer, real light and airy on top. Oh, so good. Okay, so then we're going to just leave that there and set it aside. Then we're going to put our bowl. You don't even have to clean it because you're going to put all these ingredients back in it. Put the bowl back here. Good morning. Put our bowl back on. Then we're going to mix. This is, like I said, let me put my other beater on. 6 tablespoons of sugar that are left. 1/4 cup plus 1/8 cup for 1.5 recipes. So you're going to mix the sugar with the egg yolks. The 3 egg yolks. Okay, so we have, there's the sugar. Let me go ahead and put this bowl up. 3 egg yolks. It's going to make your pudding, and we're going to beat that Okay, we have that beat together. We're going to add lemon juice. Okay, let me go ahead and add that in. This is like 1/3 a cup and another 1/2 of a 1/3 cup. Just under 1/2 of a cup. Get that mixed in. Now here's where you're going to add your zest if you're using the tablespoon and 1/2 of zest. But what I need to do is to use extract instead of zest. You need 1/2 of the amount. So 1/2 of the amount, it's going to be, what I would be using here is 1.5 tablespoons of zest. So that's going to be 1/2 tablespoon of extract plus a teaspoon. Let's see. No, it'll be 1.5 teaspoons plus 3/4 teaspoon. So that is 2 teaspoons and 1/4. Let me think that through again. So 1/2 of a tablespoon is 1.5 teaspoons. 1/2 a tablespoon is 3/4 teaspoon. So 1.5 teaspoons plus 3/4 teaspoon is 2 teaspoons and 1/4. Okay, 2 teaspoons. This is a lot of lemon extract. I hope I have this much lemon extract in here. There's 2 teaspoons and a 1/4 teaspoon. Oops, needs a little bit more than that. I'm going to have to buy some more lemon extract soon. Probably going to leave that out on my counter so I don't forget. All right, let's mix that in. Okay, so then I'm going to use, I got to melt some butter. Let me do that real quick. I got to melt 3 tablespoons of butter. Unsalted butter. So that's about a tablespoon there. Probably 2. It's got smashed. I don't know what it is anymore. Alright, so let's melt the butter. Okay, so then we're going to add in we're going to add 4½ tablespoons of flour. So that's a 1/4 cup. Doesn't have much flour. A 1/4 cup, that's why it's so light, of flour, plus a 1.5 teaspoons more. Let me make sure I have lemon juice on these. This is a nifty thing here, watch. Look, 1.5 teaspoons at the same time. Okay, there we go. Except that got on top of that one. I didn't want it to do that. There we are. All right, so let's mix that real quick. Oh, it's squashing. I think I'm going to need the whisk. Well, I'm going to get a whisk to do this anyway, so it's lumpy. If I remember right, it does get lumpy. All right, let's do the butter. And we also are going to put in a 1.5 cups of milk. It has a lot of milk. Well, I'm using all my measuring cups over here. I got something sitting here with something in it. And I keep having to switch it to a different one because I want that measuring cup. I've done that twice now. Okay, hold on here. So that is a lot of milk. I don't remember having this much milk, but okay. Right, a cup and a half. Okay, 1.5 cups of milk. Now that, you're putting it in lemon juice, so yeah, it's going to probably curdle a little, but that's what it does. It's going to be fine. It'll be yummy. Okay, there's our milk. And then I'm going to add the melted butter. Let me see if it melted. No. All right, let's do that a little bit more. Okay, what do we do after this? Beat until well mixed. Okay, I think I'm going to put my whisk attachment back on here. So my egg yolks are not responding well to this. Back on here. Okay, it sounds like that butter's probably done. Let's mix that a little bit more. Alright, so I'm going to pour the milk in here. And the butter, which is warm, but I put in that cold milk, it'll probably be fine. Mix that together. So it's kind of just going to look like liquid soup. That's what it's going to look like. So it's fine. Then what we're gonna do, let me read my directions here and make sure I'm doing right. We have this is either the peel or the extract, the juice, the milk, the flour, and the butter beaten to a mixed, occasionally shaking the bowl roast. With a wire whisk or rubber spatula, gently fold in the beaten egg whites into the other mixture, and then we're going to pour in the dish. Okay, so we're just about done here. All right, so I'm going to take this over here. Oh, I forgot to put this on my little turning thing. This is why I'm struggling. I'm like, why am I struggling with this? I forgot I have a little turntable that I wanted to put this on, and so I don't have to keep tilting this. I just moved the turntable. Look at that. Okay. If I would do it, it works well. All right, so here's my bowl. I think I'm going to get a different whisk. Here we go. Let's make sure I have some whelks out of here. I'm just going to take this whisk and beat this around a little. Okay, and then I'm going to fold in the egg whites. So I'm going to put half of them in there. Look, they float. Isn't that cute? And then I'm going to, and it is going to kind of look like, oh, it's going to look like a lumpy dumpy mess. Don't worry about it. It's going to look like that. It does look like a crazy batter. Like nothing you have ever seen making any kind of cake. So you're going to say, did I do this wrong? This is, ew. It's all separated and it's liquid like water, and yeah, it's fine. It's not mixing terribly well. That's what it does. And I've made this several times, so it is good. So you just have to kind of trust the process with this one. It's going to be messy and look terrible. Trying to get all the stuff off of my spatula here. And this is so sticky. I'm trying to do it with a bowl, not with my hand. Okay, there we go. Like that. Okay, so let's mix the rest of this in. Kind of fold it in. Not easy to do because it is so sticky, but here we go. So it kind of looks a little bit like the filling that goes in like an icebox lemon cake, only a whole lot runnier. And it is going to separate top and bottom, but see, it's going to do that in the oven. So if it separates, kind of separates on you in the bowl, don't worry about it. It's meant to do that. It's going to separate into pudding on the bottom and cake on the top. So you don't need to worry if it's doing that in your bowl. Like why won't it stay mixed? It's not going to stay mixed. It's going to separate. Okay, so I'm getting my dish. Now you can use individual little ramekins. The original recipe will make 6, like the little tiny ones, and not teeny tiny, but like the smaller ones. Or this recipe I'm making would make 9, or it says you can use a casserole dish. You have to bake it longer in the casserole dish, but I don't care because I gotta go put my makeup on anyway, so we can bake it longer. So I'm spraying this casserole dish. You need for this amount, you need a 1.5 quart. This is a 2 quart. So let me stir that again one more time. And then I'm going to pour this in. Let me get my scraper again. And I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do here. Because you have to put this in a water bath. I don't know if you've ever baked anything in a water bath. You do this with some recipes with cheesecake. And what this does is it keeps it from like burning on the edge. So you're going to put it in another dish that it fits in, where you've got to have a little bit of room around the edges and stuff. This doesn't have a lot of room, but just needs a little bit. And then you're going to pour water in this other dish up the sides of this, like halfway up the sides of the pan. So then it's kind of baking in water, the pan is. And in French, it's called something like bain-marie or something like that. It's got some French name to it. Basically, it's a water bath, but it keeps it from burning the edges, because this takes like an hour to bake. Okay, there you go. You definitely want a 2 quart pan for this amount. You don't want it that close to the top edge. Okay, so then I'm going to take Let's see, do I have any sort of measuring cup free? Here, let's use this one. Let me wash it out. Just had milk in it. Okay, so you're just going to take water, and this doesn't have to be like filtered water, any special water. It's just going to steam in the oven. And I have found the best way to do this to minimize the mess is to go ahead and put it on your oven rack and then pour the water in. Otherwise, you got to put it in your oven. You got to move it. And to transport it is not fun. So, not full of sloshy water. So I'm going to not even pull my rack out that far. We have a bubble there. There we go. You don't need to tap this to get rid of bubbles, really, because of the way it's going to separate. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And I'm going to pour water into the dish, in the outer dish, where it just goes like halfway up the inner dish. So you're just going to put like water halfway up. And it depends on how big the dish is that you're using as to how much water that is. You don't measure it, you just see until it's halfway up the dish. And I think I'm going to go ahead and try to slide this back in a little because it is really hard to do. Let me see if I turn my oven light on. It is really hard to do this and then, oops, I don't want that. And then move the dish because it's just going to slosh water, especially if your oven racks don't easily move. If they don't slide and they stick and stuff, it's not going to work very well. Okay, so that's plenty of water. So if I can slide it in the rest of the way now, gently. So that's really, I've learned, that's the way you got to do that. Have it almost already in the oven. All the way if you can do it without burning your hand pouring the water in. Okay, so there's the end of that. This is going to take, for this dish, 55 to 65 minutes until the top cake part is done. So I'm going to put on 55, and we'll check it. Then, we are now going to make the other part of dinner. We're going to make, and I made this 2 or 3 weeks ago, probably 3 weeks ago, the beef stroganoff. It was really good. Mom wanted me to make it again, where I use, she had half of a roast beef frozen in the freezer, and she's like, oh, you could make it with that meat. Yes, I can. So here we go. We're going to make it again with this meat she had frozen. We do need to use it, so let's go ahead and use it. So this is just half a roast beef that was already cooked. This is a rump roast. And I'm going to go ahead and take it out. I'm just going to chop it into pieces. But now the actual recipe for this calls for hamburger. You just take your hamburger, you cook your hamburger. And so you can definitely use a pound of hamburger, but we're using roast beef. So this will show just you can use any kind of beef that you want. So we're going to use roast beef today. But I'm going to go ahead and start. Let me get my recipe up here. What do I do to start? First of all, you brown your hamburger, which we're not going to have to do. And you would add salt and pepper at that time, which we didn't. So we'll add it later. So then what I'm going to do, after the meat is browned, you would have the meat. I'm not going to put this meat in here because this kind of meat, it'll fall apart. So I'm actually not going to put this in until the end. Because if I put this in and stir and cook, and it'll be overcooked and it will just totally fall into nothing. And I'm going to try to keep it in little pieces. This meat is so tender, cooking it in the crock pot, which is how we cooked it, it will fall apart. If I cook it more, it just totally fall apart. Okay, now let's see. If I can move, I'm going to have to move all this. But let me go ahead and just measure this here. Let's just do it while we're here. I'm going to move that out of the way. I don't need that mixer anymore. Here we go. All right, so let me measure my ingredients. And this, I'm just doing the regular amount. So you're going to want a tablespoon of minced garlic. I don't usually use that because none of us like a lot of garlic. If you like a lot of garlic, do that. I like to use the garlic pepper because it does require pepper. So let's do like a teaspoon of that. Let me get my, I'm trying to remember, what did I do last time with that? I don't think I wrote it down. All right, let's see. Where are you? Measuring spoons. Oh, here they are. Oh, they're here somewhere. All right, so let's do, is that what I did before, like a teaspoon? I wish I had written down what I did. to write it down this time. Okay, so like a teaspoon of garlic pepper, or you want a tablespoon, up to a tablespoon of minced garlic. Okay, so this is, like I said, this is garlic pepper. Let's do a teaspoon and a half. Okay, so then let's do 1.5 teaspoons of dried parsley. Let me put this one away so I know I already did it. And normally you're going to put this in your pan on top of your hamburger that you're cooking, but we're not cooking that, right? So I'm just doing it here. I'm pre-mixing it here. Here's my parsley, a teaspoon. When I say a teaspoon and a half. Okay, there's a teaspoon and a half. Then we're going to have a teaspoon of paprika, teaspoon of onion powder. Okay, there's a teaspoon of paprika. This is one of the few recipes I'm going to make. Look at that. I'm going to make the amount that it says. Teaspoon of onion powder. I love onion powder. It tastes so good. All right, that goes in. I'm kind of mixing my order over here. Okay. Come on. I can't get this one off. There we go. Teaspoon of onion powder. This onion powder really reacts poorly to the veggie. I'm actually going to add a little extra onion powder, like a teaspoon and a half of that, because I like extra of that. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of pepper. Now for that, I'm actually going to use this Hot Shot, which is black and red pepper mixed. So we're going to do a teaspoon of that. And then we're going to add, it says a half a teaspoon of salt. I usually add closer to a teaspoon and a half. It's never enough salt. Recipes never, if they do give you the amount of salt to add, I don't ever think it's enough. So it does need extra salt, maybe like 2 teaspoons, not just 1. So let's try that. You can do a teaspoon and a half. You could stick with the 1 teaspoon. That's more like a teaspoon and a half. Okay. And then you can always, that isn't how much I needed, is it? No, it is. It is fine. Okay. So then we're going to have, all right, let's see. So these are my spices ready to go. Like I said, normally I would just add this to the cooking hamburger. All right, so let me get my pan over here. And I'm going to move this stuff. I need to move you over here. Because this is where we're going to cook. And you're not going to be able to see it over here. And this is going to turn my light off, but that's okay. Let me just move all this over here. Let me get my little turntable here. Oops. Oh, I can't pick it up and hold the plugs. Oh my goodness, my fingers aren't long enough. I can touch it, but I can't pick it up. All right, let's move this over, move this. So you get to see the exciting sink. Okay, here we go. I'm sure that was thrilling. You see all the mess. All right. Okay, so we're going to plug in the phone. We're going to plug in my light source so we can then see again. Ta-da! Okay, so then I'm going to tilt this up a little so you can see the pan. There. Hopefully that stays. Okay. So now, here's my pan. Nice deep pan that I use. I don't need that little pan. Alright, so what we're going to do is before I put these spices in here, I'm going to put some stuff in here with it. I'm going to need a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce and a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Okay, here's a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Ooh. My lid's loose. So I am going to turn this on. Tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. That is what I'm using, right? Make sure it's not soy sauce. Oh, you could probably put soy sauce in if you wanted it. Okay. Tablespoon of that. Then you want a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And then you're going to add 4 cups of beef broth. Ooh, my whole thing is smoking here. Turn that on. Apparently got something on my burner. into Dijon mustard. Ooh, it's growling at me. Sorry. Okay. That. Let's mix it around. Let's turn it down a little bit so it's not so hot. Let's pour in these spices so they can get kind of toasted and brown a little. Not brown, but you know, warmed, because then they're better. I am going to pour in, that's one of these containers, the beef broth, 4 cups. I'm going to pour in a little bit of that in because that's kind of dry, just to get the spices kind of cooked. There we go. So I just have a little bit, and if you're just cooking with a hamburger, you don't need to add the liquid in ahead of time. You just put spices in with the hamburger. And then you would drain the grease off the hamburger. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to add all of that beef broth, and I'm going to add, now this is where I'm going to change this recipe a little bit. So when I made this before, it is really good to make as is, but it is really, 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 really thick and rich. So I'm going to kind of cut that down a little bit. This will also cut the calories down a little bit, so I'm going to add in the 4 cups of broth. And instead of 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, I'm going to use half and half. It just won't be quite as thick or rich, and it's just, I think I'm going to like it better, because, I mean, it was rich. Woo! If you want it super thick and rich, it's really good. Alright, so that's, I have a recipe for fettuccine or linguine alfredo that uses half and half instead of heavy whipping cream, and I like it better. It's just not as thick. So, there's that. Here is our half and half, 2 cups, which is a pint. And then what we're going to do, we add that in, and I'm also going to, this has both cream cheese and sour cream in it. I'm going to reduce the cream cheese a little bit and increase the sour cream a little bit, because that's going to make it a little, again, not as thick. So let's do that. There's our half and half. So this is the start of it. Now I'm going to see how this turns out compared to the last time. Okay, so we're going to bring this to a boil. Let's see, do we have anything else that goes in here? No, it's all in. So we're going to put 12 ounces of egg noodles. If it is not covered in liquid, then you need to add some more broth. All right, let me get my 12 ounces. The thing is, the package isn't a 12-ounce package. So I measure them. You don't have to be that exact, but because I want to make sure it isn't too, like, dry. It's got to cook these noodles. I am going to, I've got a spot there on my stove. I don't want on this. Let me clean that. I don't want this on my scale. It's Worcestershire sauce. I don't want my scale to melt either. So that's my little scale. I just want to pull it away from the heat. Alright, let me get my noodles. Wait, I didn't get those out. Somewhere I have an unopened package of one too. Or not unopened, an open package. I don't know where my open package is. Oh, here it is. Okay. I'm thinking that would be easy to find. Oh, okay, so these are 2 different brands, but oh well, that's too bad. They're egg noodles, so you just want to get a package of egg noodles. You can get whatever size you want. These are called wide egg noodles. They don't look that wide, but okay. Then they have super wide. I usually get the smallest ones they have. Okay, I taped this, and apparently this is some serious tape. All right, let me tell you. Can't even pull this tape open. All right. So here is the Publix ones, egg noodles. And I'm going to do 12 ounces. Right, there's that. So I'm just bringing that to a boil. That's 4 ounces right there. And then here is the other ones. It's just, I had to get what they had. These say medium, but they're similar. That's that brand. All right. 12 ounces, and then we're going to pour it in. Yeah, they're slightly different, but like I said, so we have variety noodles today. I guess I could have used it just from the one package, but at some point I'm going to have to mix them to use it up. It's taking me a while to get to 12 ounces here. We're almost at 11. What size was this package anyway? Oh, this one doesn't even tell me. Oh, here it is. Oh, this is a 12-ounce package. But I wanted to use up the one that I didn't use, so I wanted to use up the open one. Okay, there we go, 12 ounces. Okay, so then we're going to bring to a light boil over medium heat. Then we're going to add the noodles. Now this says simmer it for 5 minutes, but it takes longer than that. What does it say it takes on the package? This says 7 to 9 minutes. What's the other package say? 7 to 8 minutes. Okay. Yeah, it does take longer than what it says. It takes a little longer than 5 minutes. Would you want it till your noodles are, however, whatever level of tenderness you like them. All right, let me go ahead here. I want to take this off of the heat so it doesn't melt my plastic bowl. So it's getting warm. All right, so let's do my lid. Bring it to a boil. Throw away this package. Let me see if we're there yet. Nope. And then we're going to, just like I said, we're going to add these noodles. Then we're going to chop up this meat and put the meat in, and we're done. Oh, no, we're not, actually. We're going to put in the sour cream. When do I put that in? Oh, after the noodles are done. We're going to add in, I'm going to chop up the cream cheese. I've got that out. I also want to chop the meat. So let me go ahead and chop some of this meat here. Just cutting it into chunks. I say it's difficult to get this soft, tender of a meat to stay in chunks, but I'm going to try. Or you could shred it if you'd rather. Whatever works. So I'm just expecting that to go crazy any minute. Never know. Okay. Cutting the fat off the bottom here. Oh, it looks like it's boiling. Okay, there we go. Y'all see how it's rising like that? I knew that was going to do that. I knew it. Then we're going to put in our noodles. I heard one of them hit back here. There he is. Get in there, please. Okay, so we're going to cook that at least 5 minutes, and then we'll check it, although I think it's going to take 9 or more. Okay, so we're going to, I'm actually going to cover it. It doesn't tell you which way to do it, but I'm going to cover it. And I'm going to set it for a few minutes here. I'm going to chop my meat. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Let me put this over here so you can see. And I can keep my eye on that. Okay. Here is my meat. Now, like I said, if you want to pull apart and shred it, you can do that. I'm really trying to kind of keep it somewhat together, but you see how it just falls apart? It's tender. But, you know, if it does fall apart and it's just in shreds, it'll be fine. It just won't, you won't have a big bite of meat. I got a little bit of fat over here. I want to, that's not fat, that's meat. Get off of there. I want to keep this over here away from it so I don't accidentally put it in there. Okay. I'm going to cut that apart, that, and that. Okay, so my meat is pretty well kind of chopped here. I'm ready to put in. See, it's just going to fall apart. See how it just it's going to fall apart. But that's okay. It'll still be good. I'm going to try to not stir it too much if I can help it once I put that in. But you see, that's why I'm not putting that meat in first like a hamburger I would. Okay, so I'm going to rinse my knife off. Then we'll get another little thing here. Let's do it that way. No, that way. So let's do, now this calls for 8 ounces of cream cheese. I think I'm only going to do 4. And I'm going to double the sour cream, I think. So, and this is cutting the cream cheese in half. So let's do 4 ounces of this. Let's see, that will be just cutting an ounce of this off. Okay. So that much goes and the rest stays. All right, let me put this little bag. Now this isn't completely room temperature. It's been out a little bit, so it's a little warm. But I'm going to cut it into chunks just so it will melt faster when I put it in there. Let me see how that's doing. Oh, it's doing well. Okay. Turn it down a little. Get rid of all this here. Okay, so let's just try to like cut it into some chunks here. I don't know what that is. Weird little thing. Okay. Let's kind of slice through it here. And we'll do it the other way. I think it'll just dissolve faster. I hope. I hope it's going to do that. Alright, there we go. Then I'm going to measure a cup of sour cream. So I'm doubling the sour cream and halving the cream cheese. So this will have less cream cheese and more sour cream. Now the chicken linguine alfredo that I make doesn't have any cream cheese. It's just half and half in sour cream. So I do kind of have a recipe like this. So that's why I feel somewhat confident that this might work. Somewhat confident that it might work. Okay, so we got that going. Let's stir it a minute. There we go. Getting there. Let me see how many minutes it says we have. Oh, we have 5 minutes. That's not bad. Okay. Let me measure. What time is it? Oh, I have to wait till that goes back off. All of my clocks are busy. It's 11:25 or something close to that. Okay. Oh, so much later than what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be like 11, not 11:25. Oh well. The way it is. Always want it to be earlier, so I don't feel rushed. I gotta get up earlier for that. It's not too good. All right, let me put this here. All right, my sour cream. Let's see how much I have in here. It's probably, no, this is not, this is more than a cup. All right, so let me get my cup measure and my sour cream. Let's stir. So when your sour cream separates like this and it's got this water on top, I've learned this, don't pour it out. Stir it in. Otherwise you get dryish sour cream. Just stir it back in. I used to just pour it off like, oh, get rid of that water. And then I get like chunky, dry sour cream. Don't do that. So stir. Then it looks perfectly fine. This is just separating. It's not like creating water. It's just separating. Then you're going to measure a cup. This could be, I don't know if this is a cup or more than a cup. I can't remember what I used last time. This might be a cup. It's going to be close to it anyway. Really close. I might have used just under a cup in this before. Okay, there you go. So there's my sour cream, ready to go. There's not much left in here. A couple tablespoons. Okay, down we go with that. All right, let me take. Oh no, what did I do with those? Oh, there they are. Those noodles. So let me seal these back up. Thing is, this tape is so strong. Just use a tiny piece of tape. Teeny tiny piece of tape. That piece of tape was crazy. I hate, have you ever spilled dry noodles in your pantry? Oh, that's so much fun. You got dry noodles all over the floor of the pantry. Then you got to take everything out if you have stuff on your floor. things. So I'm trying to not spill noodles, dry noodles, on my pantry floor. Because I do store stuff on my pantry floor. And they get in all the cracks and crevices and everything. Okay, so I'm done with my bowl here too. Let's put this away. So we are now waiting for this to be done. I'm just going to go ahead and cook it the 9 minutes because last time it did not get done in 5 minutes. It took however long it says to cook the noodles on the package, that's how long you need to cook it. Alright, let me put up my other book here. Ooh, it smells so good. This is like the best recipe. It smells so good. So what we're going to do when we're done boiling is I'm going to add this cream cheese and get it to melt. Well, first we're going to make sure the noodles are actually done. So we're going to taste it, and then we're going to add the cream cheese and get that to melt. Then we're going to add the sour cream. And then we're going to add the meat. And that's like, we're done. So this is a really quick dinner. Of course, that little dessert took a little while, but the dinner is really quick. So you know what we're going to do here? This is very exciting. I'm going to wash these dishes. Because these things like this, I wash by hand. Now, some stuff I put in my dishwasher. But like my mixing bowl. And since I don't have anything else to do right now, so we're washing dishes. So I'm going to put that and that. Those things I wash by hand. This goes in the dishwasher. So let's put this stuff in the dishwasher. And the stuff I'm going to wash by hand, we're going to wash by hand. And I know that's not exciting. You get it? Is it thrilling to watch somebody wash dishes? Maybe it is because it's not you. I don't wash the dishes. You like to watch other people clean something. You know, it can be kind of therapeutic to watch people clean. Okay. I'm going to use this tonight, this measuring thing, so I am going to wash that. Because I'll need it for my hot chocolate later tonight. That gets washed by hand also. And these I can put in there in the dishwasher. And I just spread them out. So they get washed. And there is our 5 minutes. So we're not going to wash the dishes yet. What I'm going to do is put them in here and put water in it. And then we're going to check our noodles. So we're going to put some soap in here. We're going to let that do that. Okay, so while that's filling, round and round we go here. I hope I'm not making you sick. We're going to check our noodles. Oh, it's wanting to turn on its own now. And see if they're done. So I have a fork. Here it is. Let's see what it's like. And I got 2 brands in here. I wonder if that's going to matter. I hope they're the same. Okay, so there's my noodles. I'm going to put it over the sink here so it can cool a minute. And this helps your noodles absorb some of this flavor to cook it in this. I'd say those are done enough. Alright. Yummy. So yummy. Alright, let me let that water keep filling up. It takes forever to fill that up. Okay, so we're going to put all this cream cheese in here. This is 4 ounces instead of 8, right? Let me make sure I'm reading my... Yes, so I'm cutting it in half. You can put the whole 8 if you want, then just cut your sour cream in half if you want the original recipe. But this is me doctoring up this recipe. Yes, it is. Altering the recipe. And let's see how it does. So we're going to put in the sour cream. I mean, this is not sour cream. This is cream cheese. We are melting the cream cheese. We're just going to go with this till it all melts. Should melt pretty easily because it's hot in there. And if I can get these chunks to break apart, it'll be faster. Kind of stayed still chunked together even though I cut it. Okay, cream cheese. See, we still got chunks of it here. I'm putting it on the side trying to break it apart because it is cut. Okay, so this might be a little less thick than it was before, but that's kind of really what I'm wanting. Because it was really thick. And I don't mind it being a little less thick, honestly. Just a little creamier, a little juicier. Okay, my thing is full over here. Let's turn it off. Okay, so this does give it a nice creaminess still. And if you don't feel like it's enough, you can still add more. Maybe you want to do 6 ounces of cream cheese and 3/4 of a cup of sour cream. You could try that too. But I'm going to do it this way now. So half the cream cheese, double the sour cream. Okay. And I don't want to add the sour cream until this cream cheese is all melted, because I don't want to chill down this temperature, because I want it to keep melting this cream cheese. And the sour cream is a little cool, so I don't want it to cool until we are there with the, and I think we are. Okay, so I'm going to turn this one, I turned it up a little bit so it'd be hot. So now I'm going to turn it back down so it's not so crazy hot to add the sour cream. Now it's just on low now. Okay, so here's our cup of sour cream. So this is going to be more of a liquidy creamy rather than a chunky creamy. And I just got that up the spoon and did not want that. Okay, so let's mix that in. Oh yeah. And then we're going to stir in our meat. And then we're done. Like, seriously done. And that was a good amount of salt I put in too, I think. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. See, now see how this is like more of a liquidy? I want it like that. If you want it more like a thick, like cream cheesy thickness, then go with that. Now, I did not. This is supposed to be a pound of meat. This, I don't know if it's more or not, but whatever this is, I'm putting in. So this might be a little extra meat, but okay, so that's just extra meat. It'll be fine. I didn't weigh it. I'm just going to use what it is. So if it's a little too much, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. You'll just have more meat in it. And then I'm going to look at it, see if we need any more broth. But it's, oh yeah, see, this is more like what I'm looking for. It's more like a creamy soup. Now let me let you see that it's not as dry of a cream. It's a wetter creamy. And my meat, okay, I'm going to be done stirring, so my meat will stay nice and chunky. Alright, let me get a spoon and taste this with some meat. There's a piece of meat. And I also want some of this broth, and I want some noodles, and I don't want this big a mess. I don't know if I'm going to be successful with it not being a mess, but I'm trying. Okay, I'm going to let it sit there and cool for a minute, because it's piping hot. And so I'm going to put the lid on because it's done. I'm also going to turn it off. I don't want it to cook anymore. But let me do my dishes here real quick. So this, I know that's real exciting, but you know, we started the dishes. We got to finish. I got to finish them now. That way, when I come home, I won't have dishes to do. So here's my little lemon squeezer. I usually wash that by hand. I wash this by hand. And my stuff of dishwater here. I'm losing some soap. Let's put some more in there. Okay. Then we're going to do the... I usually wash these whisks by hand. They get rusty if you put them in the dishwasher. And all of this, I usually wash this by hand too, just because I think it's too harsh in the dishwasher for this too. I did have soap in here. Okay, that spoon can go in the dishwasher. This knife can go in the dishwasher. Try and get some more suds going here. Here we go. And then I'm going to wash this measuring cup. Because I want to use it tonight, otherwise I put it in the dishwasher. And I'm not going to wash the dishes till later tonight. And then we're going to wash this, and ta-da, we are done with our dishes. Well, we're done with these. Washing dishes is probably one of my least favorite chores in life, because I always had to do it when I was a kid, like every night. So it got to where I despised it so bad I couldn't hardly stand it. I think my parents thought they were teaching me discipline. Which is good to teach your kids discipline. But what they were teaching me was to hate washing dishes more than anything in the world. Really, I don't think if they'd have given me a break from it, I think it wouldn't have been so bad. I just don't think they knew how much of a hatred for dishes that was instilling in me. They just didn't know. Okay. For some kids, that would have been a good thing. Here we go. Oh, that's good with the roast beef. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to write all down what I did. It's so much better for me. So much better. It's creamier. Okay. So we'll put these in the dishwasher. We'll be done. I'll go put on my makeup. So I will see you in a few minutes if you are here. Here we go. One last look at the yummy. Yummy. We got 22 minutes before my cake is done. Or until the first check, actually. It might take another 10 after that. Gonna get started. Oh, you know what else I gotta wash? Look at this. I'm not done. One more. So, have you ever used, this has got a lot of grease on it, this right here? You've not tried this right here? This is the best thing they've ever come up with, ever. This is the best cleaning. You spray it on. It's so good. It cleans everything. You clean your microwave with it. It cleans everything. It's like you could use it as a household cleaner. It cuts grease so well. It's so easy to use. Just spray foam. So if you haven't tried that, I highly recommend you go get some. But don't buy the store out where I can't get any or I will be mad. Okay, so then we have this fork. These go in the dishwasher. Then I am now completely done. So I'm going to turn off my video. And I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.